Oh, Xbox, Xbox, Xbox. What the hell is going on with you? So, last week, Xbox started a brand new marketing campaign that had everyone talking and a lot of really strong opinions flying, which definitely surprised me the more I looked into it and saw and read and heard some people's opinions. And the general concept is this messaging of this is an Xbox, and these are the things that can be an Xbox, and these are the things that are not Xboxes. They released this image that sums up the general concept of this marketing going into the holiday shopping season. And then there was this 30-second commercial that just continues to double down on this messaging. So I find this whole thing to be really confusing. But what I don't find confusing is like the advertisement and the marketing itself. I actually understand completely what they're going for. What I find confusing is how strong so many people's reactions were to this. Like, it's just a marketing campaign. It's a unique message that every marketing campaign for any product in any industry is going to have. They're going to come up with something that for that year is the messaging and the branding and the concept they're just trying to translate to the consumer. Sometimes they're good messages, sometimes they're bad or confusing messages. I think this one kind of dances in between the two, but that's all it is. I don't think it's any deeper than what it seems like on the surface, but man, people lost their minds talking about how this is the worst, dumbest thing ever, and it's killing the company and killing the brand. Now, make no mistake, I'm going to get into that part of this because I absolutely do think Microsoft's brand is in trouble, and I say that as a fan and an owner of an Xbox Series X. But what I don't think is that this 30-second commercial and that image really speaks to anything happening with Microsoft to that level. It is just how can we start to tell the consumer going into the holiday shopping season all of the different ways you can basically experience Game Pass. I mean, if we really boil it down to its bare essentials, I know there's a little bit more to it, but it's like, where can you play Game Pass? On a smart TV, on your laptop, on a computer, on an Xbox, and there's two different kinds of Xboxes out there, on your phone. Where can you play Xbox games, PC games, or Game Pass games? That's all they're trying to tell you. Now, what I will tell you is that I don't love what the message is in the sense that it represents something that's happening in gaming that I don't like. So I'm not a fan of Microsoft's shifting identity of the Xbox to it just means a phone or a tablet or a laptop or an Xbox. I like the idea of what gaming has always been, where this is our device, this is our console, this is where you play our games. And I don't love that this is what they're doing, but this has been what they've been doing for a few years now. So while I'm not the biggest fan of the direction Microsoft is going, I just see this messaging as telling us what we already knew, but just in a different way. And if I'm being really honest, just to say one last quick opinion about the actual marketing or this commercial itself, I actually think the commercial is a good commercial. It's 30 seconds. The messaging of these are the places you can play Xbox games. It makes sense. It actually gets the message across in a very slick, modern way. And again, I'm not a fan of the message. Okay, I'm not a fan of play Xbox games on 100 different devices that isn't an Xbox. I don't like that. But when you consider that that's what the message is, and again, this isn't even new. This is what Microsoft started doing even back in the Xbox One era, and now they've just taken it full tilt in the Series X era. This is very effective for what they're trying to tell you. I think it's a fine 30-second commercial that's doing exactly what it's designed to do. I don't think it's that bad. But of course, the larger parts of this conversation is what is Microsoft trying to accomplish? What kind of company, what kind of gaming brand are they trying to make? Or what kind of gaming brand, let me say it this way, what kind of gaming brand are they trying to morph the Xbox brand into? And as I've already alluded to, they're definitely morphing it into something that I don't personally love. And it has been something, like I said, they've been doing for years. Okay, they started with smart glass stuff and phone streaming. I'm pretty sure this started back in the Xbox One era, if I remember. And nowadays, it's a lot easier to say, we have Game Pass, we've put it on 100 different devices. If you have a Steam Deck, if you have a smartphone, if you have a tablet, if you have a laptop, if you have a computer, you can play Xbox there just as if you were playing it on your actual Xbox that sits underneath your TV. That's what they do nowadays because technology allows for it, and Microsoft seems way less concerned about identity than they do about gaming as an art form or a passion. That's not really what they're in it for. I mean, yes, all companies are in it for money, but I think the way Microsoft goes about it, they're less interested in being a gaming company and more interested in being a tech company. And that's really all I see. And while it's fine, and I do still enjoy playing my Xbox Series X for a few things, and I'm really excited for Indiana Jones in a few weeks, they're definitely becoming a company that doesn't really appeal to my sensibilities as a gamer, just based on my own personal preferences. And so there's a question that the conversation around this marketing and Microsoft and the Xbox and everything makes me ask myself. And that question is, should Microsoft or will Microsoft get rid of or move on from the Xbox brand and the Xbox gaming company and division? Should they just abandon all things Xbox? Should they sell it off, or should they stop pretending to be a hardware manufacturer under the Xbox banner and just become a platform, a game launcher, essentially? I mean, that's really what it is, right? Like the Epic Store or Steam, and EA has their own version of it, right? Does Game Pass just need to become a game launcher and they need to just stop making Xboxes? I think it's a valid question, and I definitely wonder if they should, and it makes me sad because I don't want them to, but I definitely think it's something to consider when you look at what they've been doing and how they've been letting so many of the best qualities of the Xbox brand go to the wayside in favor of just throw crap anywhere. We don't want to sell you games. We don't want you to own your games. We just want you to pay us a subscription pass. That's the company they're becoming, and basically already have become in the world of gaming. Even though they have 2 Xboxes on the market, that's what they have become. And I don't think any of us see that changing significantly over the course of the next 3 to 5 years. Now, the one element that does put a wrench in this, and I'll admit it puts a wrench in this in a positive way for me, because I'm an old school guy who likes old school gaming fundamentals. Just make your console, make only a console, make it gaming focused, even if you add other features, have your own exclusive games and your own exclusive libraries, and create your own identity. Like, that's what I want. That's what I grew up on in the 80s and 90s, and it's what I'll always want gaming to be, even though for many years it's been moving away from that, and I'm not blind to it. I still like what I like, and I want it to be what it used to be. But again, the one thing that changes all this kind of in that direction is that sometime in the last year, I don't remember when, I think it was maybe that interview that Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer and Matt Booty gave in response to these rumors that Starfield was going to go to PlayStation and whatnot, where they said, we're working on new hardware, and it's going to be the best, most powerful hardware anyone has ever created for a video game console. So we don't yet know what that really means or what that looks like, but it really was like some of the highest up heads of the Xbox company and division confirming that they're not done making hardware, which is definitely exciting to me and to a lot of people, but it also flies in the face, seemingly, of everything else they're doing, including the very 30-second commercial that started this whole conversation. And so this is where I do get frustrated with Microsoft and Xbox, because it's like, it seems like they have 2 different visions, 2 different business models, and 2 different identities that they're trying to be at the same time. They're trying to be the company that doesn't care about making hardware, doesn't care where you play your games, and they don't want you to own your games physically or actually. They want you to rent games and pay a subscription service and play your Game Pass app, the games through Game Pass, on your phone and your smart tablet and your microwave and your car's dashboard and wherever the hell. It seems like that's what they want. It's all digital. You're renting, you're paying a subscription, play on anything but an Xbox. But then at the same time, a year ago, they confirmed they're making another Xbox. I mean, I think it was Sarah Bond who said this. I might be wrong, and she didn't call it an Xbox, to be fair. I don't remember them saying we're making another Xbox. I think they said we're making another console, we're making another piece of hardware. So I'll just call it an Xbox for the sake of this conversation. We want Game Pass on every device that isn't an Xbox. Please play our stuff that way. but also we're making an Xbox, and so buy our next Xbox. Like, what are you? What are you doing? They seem so confused and so backwards with their messaging. It seems like one hand is not talking to the other. And while, in essence, I like Xbox, I'm rooting for Xbox. I like my Series X, even though I don't have a lot to play on it. I like it. I'm a big fan of Starfield. I liked Halo Infinite, I play these games. I own them physically, and I put them in my Xbox, and I play them every once in a while, and they're great. So I'm rooting for Xbox. I love the original Xbox. Xbox 360 is one of the 10 best video game consoles ever made. I think a lot of people would agree with that. But they've also been really changing their trajectory to the point where it doesn't seem like they care about gaming being their identity the same way Nintendo and Sony do. And, those companies have their issues too. I'm a big Nintendo fan. They're doing it better than anyone for sure, but they do some frustrating things. Sony, I love my PlayStation 5. I play it more than anything else in my household, but they also do some really frustrating things as well. But Microsoft's direction, it's very different. It's very confusing. And I don't see them really caring about being a part of this industry the way Sony and Nintendo do. Even if they make mistakes and do frustrating things, there's no doubt they care about their identity and their brand as a gaming company. And Microsoft, they don't. And this commercial, even though I said I don't think it's a bad commercial for the message they're trying to translate, this commercial shows that they're going in different directions. Their business decisions, just buying huge companies like Activision, Blizzard, and Bethesda, and then pushing Game Pass and digital renting of games, not physical ownership of games, or even digital ownership of games, really. They're just trying to do something totally different, and I think it's antithetical to the best parts of gaming. It's antithetical to the things that I want out of gaming, which, like I said, is just own your identity, have exclusive content, make your consoles, and focus on doing the best you can at that possible. That's what I prefer a gaming company to be, and Nintendo and Sony do that very well. Microsoft has been trying to do too many things at one time, while at the same time achieving very little. And we've recently learned that Game Pass, and this was never a surprise to me, Game Pass, while it is a good value to the end consumer, it's not good for the business of gaming. It's not good for Microsoft's business, and I don't think it's ever been proven to be good for the game companies that make games that then become available on Game Pass. So as a profit-generating venture, I don't really understand the value of Game Pass in that respect, which is why I really have almost very rarely been a Game Pass subscriber. Indiana Jones comes out in a few weeks. I'm buying that physically. I'm not going to get that through Game Pass. I want to own it. I want to hold it. I want to put the disc in, and I don't want to have to be paying $20 a month for eternity just to be able to play Indiana Jones whenever I want. I'm going to buy it one time. I'm going to have that disc, and whenever I put it into my Xbox, I'll be able to play it. No $20 Game Pass subscription required. And so, to just kind of wrap this up and answer that question I was referring to, should Microsoft abandon the Xbox, or will they abandon the Xbox? I will say I don't think that they're going to. I don't think that's their plan. But should they? Right now, my feeling is no, because I still think they have enough foundation and history in the industry going, and goodwill built up from the Xbox and the Xbox 360 generation, that they're standing at the edge of a precipice, man, where they could harness that goodwill and harness the things that used to make them a good gaming forward company. And again, I'm talking about Xbox. Microsoft is the company above them, is a big tech giant. It's very different. But when we focus on just Xbox and Phil Spencer, who runs it, and the other people around him, and whoever might take over for Phil if he leaves in the next, 5 years, which I kind of think might happen, I think they've got enough. If they wanted to try to course correct and say, let's forget all this Game Pass, play anywhere, this is an Xbox crap. Let's go back to, we own Call of Duty, we own Elder Scrolls, we own all these things. Let's go back to making things exclusive. Let's go back to focusing on the Xbox brand as our own identity. Let's build up that identity. Let's focus on new Halo and Gears of War games and new IPs that are just ours, as well as the ones that we've purchased because we're rich and we can purchase them. And just do that. And go back to just making Xboxes. Forget all this other scattered crap with smartphones and laptops and tablets and whatnot. And just be an Xbox company. Keep Game Pass if you need to keep it. Allow Game Pass to be on PC, that's fine. But I feel like they could course correct in the way that could make them a better gaming company. So that's why I don't want them to abandon Xbox just yet. But I kind of don't see them choosing that path. I feel like we've only seen evidence that they're straying further and further away from that. So in 5 years, even though they're going to make another Xbox, so to be fair, that could be a defining moment that could tell us more. So I'm going to reserve the right to change my opinion when I see whatever this console is. And also, I guess rumors that they're trying to make a handheld. So what, they want to compete with the Steam Deck and the Switch too? Good luck. I just don't think it's going to get much traction. But, you know, the incoming Xbox that they've referred to aside, I only have seen evidence that they're getting further and further away from being a gaming-focused company. They just want to be a place to play games and make money off subscription passes, and they're not concerned about creating good games as art. They're not concerned about really making the gamer all that happy. They just want to be the place people go to play other people's games, which isn't inherently a bad thing, by the way. It's just sad to see what was a gaming company that made the original Xbox and the 360 and franchises like Gears of War and Halo become this. That's the sad part, is seeing them lose their identity and just become kind of a nothing burger, like, this is an Xbox. Okay, whatever. Like, again, I don't like this messaging, even though I think the commercial is fine, and it's not that confusing to understand what they were trying to say, I should say. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling at the end of this. I just, I know everyone talked about this last week, and it was a hot button issue, and the only opinions, at least that I saw, were just, this is terrible, this is awful, Microsoft's done, Microsoft is dead, this makes no sense, it's bad, bad, bad. And I'm like, look, I don't like what they're trying to say, but what they're trying to say makes sense, and I think the commercial is fine, and even if it is bad, who cares? I don't think this says anything more about the death of Xbox as a good gaming company than anything they've been doing before this 30-second commercial. God, it took me 20 minutes into this video to say it that way, but I think that's the true essence of what I was trying to get at, what made me want to talk about this. I don't think any perception about the direction of Microsoft was changed with the release of this commercial. That much is for sure. I saw this and I was like, okay, yeah, that's what Xbox is now. But then I saw 25 videos over the course of 3 days and everyone's like, what's going on? Xbox has lost their mind. They're the worst ever. And I'm like, you guys, this is what they've been. Nothing has changed. It's just an ad slogan for the Christmas season. That's all it is. So calm the hell down as I sit here getting irate in the last 30 seconds of this video. So anyway, these are my thoughts. I just wanted to talk about this. I think it's very interesting. I hope Xbox rights the ship and becomes a gaming company again, but I sure as hell would not put money on it in Vegas. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years or what that next Xbox console will be. I'm just going to sit here enjoying my Xbox as I can, enjoying Indiana Jones in a few weeks, and crossing my fingers that Xbox becomes a good gaming company again.